This exhibition was first exhibited in Paris, and as soon as it was, our director, Neil McGregor, became very excited at the possibility of bringing it to London as soon as was possible thereafter. And so I think I joined the team in about 2007 to try and reinterpret that travelling exhibition, work with the designers and the interpreters to strengthen parts of the message, and to include some objects that were not in the travelling exhibition. So objects that had been stolen from the National Museum, returned through private philanthropy, conserved here at the BM, and actually returned by us to Kabul once the exhibition had ended. I think this exhibition is special because it's a tale in two parts. One is the story about ancient Afghanistan and how it has, throughout time and its history, been closely shaped by its neighbours. So there's the interrelationship of a country and a region with the cultures that are changing around it. So Afghanistan is very much at the crossroads of culture, and that's one part of the exhibition. And that's terribly important, I think, because to understand the present you need to understand the past, and to understand the past you need to understand the present. These things are interrelated. And this sort of pivotal role of cultures and geography are shown very, very clearly in this exhibition. You know, there's a pull towards India at certain periods, there's a pull towards Central Asia in others, there's a pull to the West in the Greek period and earlier. So that's one really important point that shows how pivotal Afghanistan has been and will continue to be in the future, shown through beautiful objects. But there's another story, of course, and that's a story that is very poignant, I think, in a museum context, and that is the story about how all of this culture was threatened directly during a period of terrible civil war during the mid-1990s, and how it was threatened again when political fortunes or misfortunes led to the willful destruction and vandalism of objects in the care of the curators of that museum. Cultural heritage is a very fragile commodity. That it comes across very, very clearly in this exhibition, and that's something I think that makes everyone stop and think for a moment, that you have to treasure it, and that those Afghans that treasure this material did so in the face of extreme danger and extreme hardship, and we should be terribly grateful to them for what they succeeded in doing. So it's an exhibition in two parts. Black market is a terribly difficult thing to try and control and monitor, and it'd be naive to say that you can end it. But what we've been doing over many years now is working very, very closely with enforcement agencies, particularly within Britain, to identify materials that they interdict, whether it's coming in by air, land or sea, and to advise them as far as possible where we think it comes from culturally, and where we have legally binding agreements with those countries, return those objects through whatever means we think is the most efficient and secure. And we've had the greatest success so far with Afghanistan in this respect. Sadly, it's partly a reflection of the vast quantity of objects that are hemorrhaging out of the country and have been hemorrhaging out since the early 1990s. But because enforcement agencies are alert and we know what to advise them to look for, we've identified now and returned to Kabul about 2,300 antiquities over the last few years, beginning in 2009. Some of them date to the same period as the objects you see in the exhibition from Tepe Fulol, whereas others go up to the medieval and later periods.